The United Kingdom recently announced a new law, a new practice, a new law that will be applied to the internet and how people use the internet. Now, they, disguise it as protecting children, protecting minors, from things that they should not see. And, it's like, kind of like, oh, we're protecting the children. The problem is that their new law requires everyone in the United Kingdom, if they want to access anything that is not very, child friendly, to submit an ID or submit their face. Now, if you can't understand why that is a problem, I'll kind of explain that. That is a problem because it's just a huge violation of your privacy online. Imagine just having to upload your identification, your social security, to every website that has a remotely disturbing image on it, or any kind of content that is not made for children. Like even on X, they had you can't view this post, you have to verify your age. Now we had this with YouTube, and it's friggin' stupid. Okay, on YouTube, this function exists. The thing with YouTube is that it's only for very certain videos. In general, it's for a very minor, few videos. And on YouTube, you don't even have content that is necessarily like 18 plus. Like we don't have, NSW content on here. So I mean, that's at least good. But yeah, so basically, this was all already kind of a thing, Texas, but it's less so. It's more for a specific, for those specific like adult sites. You have to provide the ID, but the new law UK made, like kind of Child Safety, Protection Act or something, whatever it's called. Basically, they just require now everybody to submit an ID or their face. And I saw that, their face recognition, like anything like that, estimates the age of, you based on your face. It can be fooled by Death Stranding, Norman Reedus imagery. So it's not really that good, but I think it's just a very temporary kind of cheat code, very, very temporarily early on thing that will be patched in like a year, so in a year this won't be available. You won't be able to just upload Norman Reedus on there and be like, yo, what's up, yo? I'm old enough. Now the problem with this whole shebang is, as I said, user privacy. Because in my opinion, the internet should be a fully private space. It should be a space where, yes, you can kind of be more public with things like your location, your general location, not obviously your specific location, but like your face, things like that. And if you really do need, to upload an ID for an actual, real reason, like if you're applying for a job or something like that, you know, or if you're just uploading a profile picture or something, or you were buying a game and you need to input your credit card details, something like that. If you're actually purchasing something, then yeah, obviously you will need to use some sort of payment processor. But in general, the internet, in my opinion, should be a very private space where like user security is very high, where you don't need to upload an image of your face, or your identification card, which is like your ID is like it contains all of your like personal data. Like if a hacker or anybody else gets access to that ID, they immediately can just steal your identity. Not only that, it's also very invasive for the government to have access to basically every site you go to. Basically, be able to just search it out. I mean, they kind of can already do that, but this just makes it like 10 times easier and 10 times more like available out there. Now, I think this whole kind of movement towards this very kind of, how do I put this, censored internet. It's very not only does it show kind of what these people's motives are, it also shows how easily the government can just censor shit. How easily the government can just one day decide, okay, so we're gonna pass this law, and now nobody in our country can use the internet freely. It's like you give them an inch, and then they will take a mile, right? So, and I think one of the core problems of this whole thing is that it's kind of it's labeled as child safety when in reality it's really not. I think it's just another form of control, primarily like in 1984. It's just if any of you read 1984, one of the biggest things in that book was just the complete surveillance, complete like access to people. So this just makes it, as I said before, so much easier for the government to track people. And I think their motives are like they don't give a fuck about child safety and stuff like that. In my opinion, if you don't want your child accessing like adult websites and stuff like that, then maybe do a better job of being a parent, right? I mean, I think it's more up to the parents, right? It's not like necessarily you don't like if you're a shitty parent, that's like your problem. Like you don't have to blame, the government and then have the government censor the World Wide Web. So that your child is like locked away. Plus, like there are workarounds to this, like using a VPN, places that don't, I am really not a cybersecurity, like not cybersecurity. I'm not an internet expert. I'm not a computer expert in general. So I can't really, name all of the workarounds. The one I know was, a VPN. So that's kind of one thing. But yeah, so that's kind of something that has been, done in this past time, and I think it's a huge move in, towards this very Orwellian future, this future where the government has complete and total access. And I even like yesterday when I was thinking about this, I kind of thought that at one point people will just start moving over to the dark web because it's the only place that is actually like kind of free. Like, yeah, there's a lot of really bad stuff on there, like a lot of really bad stuff on there. But at least it's a place that isn't like monitored by the government and that isn't like necessarily controlled by the government, right? At least from what I understand, the dark web is like much more, the deep web is like much more kind of free, right? And I think that at some point, though, that will just become the place where the only place where you will actually be able to be like kind of anonymous, right? I mean, it's dangerous to go on, to go on there. And personally, I don't go on there because, it's unnecessarily dangerous. But it's just kind of one of the places where the government doesn't really, have that much control. On the regular web, they can just, censor shit and do all kinds of stuff. And they just have full control. And I think that people should, be raising awareness and moving, petitioning against this, like like we did with the Stop Killing Games thing. Just make a petition, but the same thing for, you know, the same petition only against this. Stop killing the internet type stuff, right? So just purely, I think this is a step in the entirely wrong direction. This just kinda give us your ID for every website you visit. It's like it's even like if an adult is like accessing one of these websites, like you don't want to give these websites your name. You don't want people to know that you're accessing these sites. Like it's not only a matter of like, minor safety and minor privacy, it's also a matter of, adult privacy. Like no adult wants to go on these sites which are, in society frowned upon and give their ID or their face to these websites and have other people like know that you are accessing this site, right? Or give your information to this site. Which I think that's just a problem that a lot of people would have. I don't know. I think a lot of people also wouldn't have this problem because there are public places where these things are in the old times at least magazines and stuff like that which contain this kind of stuff, so people actually had to buy them in person. So I guess that was even worse. But this is just an infringement on privacy and basic, in my opinion, basic human like not okay, not human rights, 'cause that's a little bit bullshit, but, this is just a shitty law. What the UK government is doing is just really not good for humanity. It doesn't do anything good, right? Because there are workarounds. There are workarounds. This just makes the internet much more, like, annoying, more controlled, and I just hope that this doesn't, continue happening and that this, isn't, like, stopped at some point, right? So yeah, so that's basically kind of the general thing of what's happening, right? So basically you have to upload an ID, Also, this is UK only. Obviously, this is only happening if you're living in the United Kingdom. Then only you will be affected by this change, nobody else. So bad day for the UK. One thing I really love the United Kingdom. Like the United Kingdom is perhaps one of my favorite pieces, geographic locations on the planet. Like, to be honest, if the government there wasn't so god awful, like, I would actually want to go and live there because that place is like the nature in the UK is just beautiful, right? Tolkien lived there. So many great people have lived there. It's just a beautiful place with beautiful history. And to have it just completely ruined by these assholes sitting on, with their suits, these, Karens. Like I watched like Asmongold react to, kind of like interview with the people who actually like put this into place, and it's just all a bunch of Karens. And they're like, we need more restrictions. We need like one of the people in the video that I saw was like, we need more restrictions. We need more rules. We need more regulations. I'm like, God damn! Like, what are you talking about? Like, who likes regulations? Who likes fucking rules? Like, who needs more restrictions? Like what the fuck is happening with people? Are they like brain dead? Like who the fuck needs more restrictions? You know, like where is this fucking nonsense coming from? Who decided, "Oh yeah, you know what I want? I want more restrictions." No, that's the opposite of what people want. People want like a few good rules, like a few like really good rules that are like, okay, so basically do fuck all, but there are just some things, just don't do this bullshit, just go on the internet, you can swear all you want, you can access all you want, but just don't do some very specific bullshit, don't violate the copyright, don't do this and that, but like, go nuts. People don't want more restrictions. That is not something anybody wants. Like these people saying we need more restrictions, just fucking nuts. I think it's just a bunch of Karens who think that it's just a bunch of delusional people, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's kind of my take on this whole shebang, this whole situation, and yeah, hope you found my talk reasonable. Hope you found this enjoyable. I'm trying out a little new, different audio techniques, also a little bit different, video techniques, and I just really want to kind of make my videos better. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you did, if you enjoyed, please leave a like, it really does help me out. Also, if you enjoyed this video and enjoyed my other videos, then perhaps consider subscribing, because as of now I will be uploading every single day for the next foreseeable year, definitely, hopefully, and yeah, for watching. Live long and prosper.